Hi, this is Troxel. In today's tutorial, we're going to look at a really simple little script that apparently everybody's been looking for, but I didn't even realize that it was that much of a problem. So let's first of all look in Vegas to see where the problem initiates, and then we'll take a look at this simple little script. In fact, it's so simple, I've scripted down to almost the bare minimum that you would need to run a script. And we're just going to look at it in Notepad and look at the tiny little script that it is. First of all, let's take a look in Vegas, and you will see that I can create a selection area, and then when I click anywhere, my selection area disappears. So if I create a selection area and I click here, it just disappears. But that is not the default. So if we go to Options, Preferences, to the Editing tab, you will see that I have this collapsed loop region when no time selection is present checked. If I uncheck that, now when I create a loop region here and I click somewhere else, that loop region remains. Then I can create another one and it will just stay there until I create another one. So I've always got the loop region present unless I should do something like press IO, which will collapse the loop region to where my cursor is located, or I can actually just slide one of these to hit the other one, and that would also collapse it. So why would I need to collapse this loop region anyway? Well, there's one important reason, and that is, let me drag a file down here. When we go to File, Render As, under our render options is a Render Loop Region Only checkbox. Right now you see that is checked on my machine. So if I wanted to render a small area, then all I had to do is select the area on the timeline and then tell it to render, and it's automatically just going to render that section. But when you're like this, it's hard to get rid of that selection area, and so a lot of people have been coming into the Options, Preferences, and changing this, and then later, when they want the selection area to stay, they go back into the menu option again and change it again. Let's leave it unchecked for right now and take a look at this little script and see if we can't get rid of this without all the other options that we've looked at here. Here's the actual script. Like I said, we've stripped it down to basically the bare minimum. So we've still got our using script portal.vegas. Then we have our public class entry point and our public void from Vegas, and it passes us the Vegas variable. Now that is all the standard part that is at the very bottom of our standard class 1.cs. So then, instead of setting up my Vegas variable, I'm just using this one directly, and so I have just the vegas.transport.loop_region_start. So this is going to be where the loop region would start, and we're going to set that to vegas.transport.cursorPosition. And then we're going to do the same thing here with the vegas.transport.selectionStart. We're going to change that to vegas.transport.cursorPosition. So now we've got the two start positions set. Now how long are the regions going to be? So we go to vegas.transport.loop_region_length, and we just set that to 0 frames long. And then we go to vegas.transport.selectionLength, and we set that also to 0 frames long. So let's go back to Vegas. So now we have a selection area. It doesn't matter where I click on the timeline, that selection area is still there. And so if I told it to render, it's only going to render from this area to this area. If I now run this script, collapse loop area, now the loop area has been collapsed and it is at the cursor position now. So I can click anywhere else and it will still render the whole thing, but if I create another selection area and I want to render, but I don't want to render just that selection area, then I can go to Tools, Run Script, and collapse that area back to nothing. So now I no longer have to go into Options, Preferences, Editing, and check or uncheck this box. Personally, I leave that box checked all the time. So when I have this, I can render a selection area. If I don't want to render the selection area, I can just click anywhere I want to click, and I'm good to go. So as I said, that's just a simple little script, just basically 4 lines long, and all it's doing is setting the start of the selection area and the loop region area to the cursor position, and then it's setting the length to 0. And that way it collapses the loop area, and so when you do a render, you're going to get the whole thing again. And like I said, I didn't realize so many people were needing something of that nature, but there's been quite a bit of feedback on that, saying that this has been a very useful little bitty script. So use this script, be happy with it, and let me know what you think. If there are any other little bitty functions like this that you'd like to see if they can be automated, let me know. And subscribe and let me know what you'd like to see in the future. Please sign up at www.jettv.com and subscribe on YouTube to get further notifications on when new videos are presented.